Hey everyone, One Spit, and here with a battle report. So this is my Empire build using the Light Council versus another Empire build with another Light Council. I was actually very excited to play this game because you come to the table with very similar tools, and then it's just very intriguing about how you use them. So the councils converge, Empire versus Empire. These are both practice lists for an upcoming tournament, and in this tournament you can bring up to 250 points in Storm of Magic. My opponent chose not to do that. And I certainly did, because it's also a Swedish comp tournament, and the points and the monsters from Storm of Magic don't count towards your comp. So my list comped out at a 9 because I basically had 250 free points. So on the far left, he's building a highly mobile army. So he's got a unit of vanilla knights, 5 strong. He's got 3 of these in his army. He considers them his chaff. 3 demigryphs behind him. Then he's got a war altar with 2 level 1 light wizards behind it. His war altar's built similarly to mine, in that his archlector also has the talisman of preservation. Big difference is I give mine the speculum and he doesn't. So then instead of, I use a Celestial Hurricanum, he uses a Luminarch in his list, which I find interesting because in my list I really like having the extra power die for a game where I'm really counting on magic phases, whereas his is interesting because he has 1 more bound spell that it's a strength 8 D3 hit, D3 wounds, so very pretty interesting. He's got a stank, some more vanilla knights, front row center on those. He's got an unpainted model, that's his level 4 Lore of Light. Then he's got a unit of Inner Circle Knights with a front row right. He's got a Warrior Priest and a Battle Standard Bearer, 3 more demigryphs, and then to the right of this he's got another unit of 5 vanilla knights and 2 cannons. I'm down to only 1 cannon in this list because the Swedish comp hits them so hard. So far left, the giant looking thing is actually a giant Chaos Spine Beast. Then I've got a cannon. Then I've got a unit of 45 halberdiers, and front of that is my war altar. And like I said, I have a 4-up to my Archlector, and he also has the Speculum. I think he has the Manbane Sword too. If you look at the far left of this picture, the front row right of the Halberdier unit is my level 4 Lore of Light. He has a Channeling Staff. I've got another unit of 45 Halberdiers with my Battle Standard Bearer. He's in the front row left. He's got the White Cloak of Ulrich. There's a Hurricane behind it. A detachment of 6 archers with 2 level 1s. 1 has a scroll. I've got 4 demis. And then a steam tank in the middle. So I was really hoping I'd go first here. It's funny because he has 2 cannons, a stank, and he has got this magic phase that's it's just no joke. He's got 2 banishments, and one of them doesn't take much to cast. He also has this strength 8 D3 wounds Luminarch. I actually did not take banishment on my level 4, and I could have. I wanted to try it out without it because I don't want to feel like it's a crutch of, I like having a strong magic phase, but it doesn't always have to be 2 banishment castings. So of course I have banishment with the war altar, but I don't have it with my level 4. So my opponent wins the roll to go first, and he moves up like that. So because he's highly mobile, you can see for the most part he spreads out and tries to envelop his opponents. During the shooting phase, cannons pick on my cannon and take it out. And really nothing else significant happens. I had to burn my scroll to stop all his magic. So the bottom of turn 1, I move up, as you can see. Now I'm trying something on the left. I don't know if I love it, but basically I'm keeping 1 unit of halberdiers kind of back. It's almost like a reserve unit, and I'm being much more aggressive with my other unit of halberdiers. And I have my war altar up close because I want it casting banishments starting on turn 1. With so many people bringing scrolls, a lot of times you're not going to really hurt anything turn 1, but it's imperative that I at least draw the scroll out. So I don't really love having the war altar that exposed, and I may rethink that before future games. There's the far left. Giant Chaos Spine Beast, not being too aggressive. I don't know what I'm worried about. Those knights aren't going to hurt him that bad. During the magic phase, so I get a bubble false protection off, and I miscast. My level 4 doesn't take. I roll the miscast result where all spellcasters take a hit. So my Archlector ward saves his. I roll a 1 to wound my level 4, but both of my level 1s take a wound each. And that miscast result is absolutely brutal with a Light Council if you have a bunch of level 1s. And I don't think I rolled it on my Hurricanum. I forgot about that. But I think since it generates power dice, it has to roll on that too. Anyway, a rules question that came up that neither one of us knew and was important because we both play the same list is, does Foss Protection affect a cannon? Because a cannon doesn't target a unit, it targets a spot on the ground. And if it does work for cannons, what do you do to say if based on what he guesses, does that mean that if that could hit a unit that's protected by Foss, he has to roll a 4-up? We rolled it off and that's why we played it, but neither one of us were sure about that. Elsewise, my steam tank shoots. It was really tough to decide to go against his War Altar or his steam tank, but the fact that his War Altar and Archlector both had a 4 board save, I didn't want to deal with that, so I shot at the steam tank, hit it, wounded it, and did 6 wounds. Got very lucky there. Steam tanks are resilient even with 6 wounds down, even knowing you're probably going to miscast or misfire when you generate steam points. They still can be effective. So we'll see if he's able to. Top of turn 2, the steam tank's able to move and comes towards my lines. I think he could move, but he couldn't shoot. I think after the misfire result, he only had 1 die left. Otherwise, he's not swinging around with his knights on my right, which I thought was interesting, but that's kind of why I put the steam tank there, because if he comes closer, I'm just going to ram into him with the steam tank. And, you know, so what are you going to do? He could charge the steam tank, but he's not going to kill it. And I'm going to, whatever unit charges him, I'm going to grind him down over time. So I really like the steam tank holding up a flank there. Over here on the left, yeah, I was way too cavalier with my Archlector. I like that I'm stubborn 9 rerollable, so I'm not worried about breaking. He only has strength 6, but he only has 5 attacks with him, so he's hitting on 4s. So he should hit 2 or 3, and then I've got a 3-up armor save that'll go to a 6-up armor, and then a 4-up ward. So I'm not really worried too much about that, and I'll be able to counter charge on my turn with the Halberdiers. So he shoots my steam tank and puts 4 wounds on it. And like I said, I mean, steam tanks are so awesome. Even with 4 wounds, they can usually do what you need them to do. Let's see. Yeah, so one cannon blows up, the other one misfires and turns around, or it fails a panic test from the blow up and had to turn around. Either way, one cannon's gone and the other one can't shoot at me next turn, which takes a lot of pressure off. It's tempting to shoot at the cannons, but my strategy this game was to totally ignore them and let them hit what they're going to hit. And I mean, he has so many targets worth hitting, right? I mean, he's the steam tank, his War Altar, you know, so I just ignored him and they helped me out. He does 2 wounds to my general, which I was very unhappy about. I didn't make any of my ward saves. I, of course, did nothing to him. He won. I was stubborn and I stuck. But now my concern is I'm going to charge on my turn, and his guys, all I have to do is 1 more wound to my general. Now he's only strength 4, not strength 6, but nevertheless, he needs 1 wound and my Archlector's dead. So, bottom of turn 2, Halberdiers charge the flank of the knights at the bottom. Otherwise, I feel like I'm being a little more aggressive. That's because I think he has me outranged. I'm down a cannon. So, he still has 1 cannon. We both have a stank, and you know, whatever. So I move up like that. Yeah, these knights are so hard to wound. In the magic phase, I get the re-roll to wound spell off, and even with that, I think I killed 1. These guys are rough. So I kill 1. He does not wound my general. I was very excited about that. I decided not to pursue because I didn't want to catch with my general and be right there in front of his Demigryph knights. So I just really wasn't worried about his knights. You know, just wasn't worried about him. So the top of turn 3, scary moment. His steam tank generates 4 steam points. He misfires, and he gets the one where he basically took a wound and got an extra steam point. So he's working with 5 steam points. He comes barreling ahead into my Demigryph knights. He doesn't need much. I think he needs 7. I don't know. I'd have to look at these pictures to see. But he doesn't need a whole lot, and he fails it by 1 or 2 inches. I think he failed it by 2 inches. Just that would have really hurt because, yeah, I mean, he would have killed probably 2 Demigryphs, just 1 or 2 easily from the impact hits. And then, you know, I mean, I might have been able to deal with him. I probably could have charged my steam tank in his flank and killed him that way, but still, really, really glad that he failed that. If you look on the left, his knights did not rally, and they didn't run through his demis, which I kind of like that because his knights are now keeping his demigryphs from being able to charge anything. I like that a lot. Now the way he's set up his battle standard bearer is so far right that like anything on the left doesn't get a reroll. So it's leadership 9 but no reroll, and you never know how that could work out. So knights bouncing through his demis is kind of dangerous because he'll be, he'll have to take a panic test. Yeah, there's that one. Oh, I'm sorry. Here's what was weird about this. He got the spell off on his last magic phase that doubled the movement of the steam tank. That's why he didn't need to roll very high, because whatever he rolled, we were going to double. So he really needed to roll almost, I think he needed to roll a 6. I think he was 12 inches away. It was something like that. Anyway, he rolled insanely low and saved 1 or 2 demigryph knights. And if he had killed 2, I would have been steadfasted and would have broken and gotten away, but would have killed my standard bearer and just been a real hassle. So there's the left. He's backing up over here with the demis, which is nice. Lays a flame template down on strength 3 on my halberdiers and kills a chunk of them, but not so much that I'm really worried about it. And we go to bottom, turn 3. So my demigryphs charge the steam tank. The thing has 7 wounds on it. It only has 3 left. I think over time they can get that. I was real tempted to charge the Hurricanum in there too, but decided it wasn't worth it. On the left, I take my War Altar up as well as my Giant Chaos Spine Beast because his knights are protecting me from his demigryphs charging. So I really like that. Let's see, everything else is as you can see it. And then, yeah, just everything. Oh my gosh. So the steam tank fires at his War Altar, and I've been shooting at it and getting spells off. I don't know if you've noticed the wound markers, but basically his Arch Lector and his War Altar both had some wounds on it. My steam tank fires at it. Both of them fail their ward saves, and I just kill them dead, which forces a panic test. And even though he has a reroll on some of these things, a level 1 wizard runs off the table. His Luminarch runs off the table. His unit of knights with its level 4 fail their panic, and their leadership 8 rerollable. They fail it, and they come within 1 inch of running off the table. And I probably at that point would have told him just to keep them on because this is bad luck enough as it is. My Arch Lector is 1 wound away from being dead, so like I get it. Like there's a lot of things that could happen here, but yeah, that's rough. That's a rough one to bounce back from. I had the choice to charge a steam tank into the flank of my opponent's steam tank and just get rid of it. But I decided the demigryphs with only 3 wounds left could probably do that on their own, and I liked the chance of shooting at the Arch Lector, and it worked out. So my opponent brought out a miniature table so that when dice really go against you, you can flip a table. And he flipped a table. Thought he was being a good sport about it. It was rotten luck. So after combat, I put 1 wound on the steam tank. I'm happy enough with it. I can just, he's going to grind on his turn, and that's not going to be fun. But he only has 2 wounds left. So we go to his turn. He generates steam points. He misfires. He gets the result where you gain steam points but lose wounds. He lost 2 wounds and died. So, yeah. So he charges demigryphs into the flank of my steam tank. On the left, his demigryphs try to go around to get around my flank. His knights decide to rally, and his other knights stay kind of far back because he doesn't want me to charge them with my halberdiers or my demigryphs. So there's that. There's that. I'm really not worried about that. His lone cannon, I've been very cavalier with this cannon the whole game, just ignoring it, and it shoots and gets past the ward save of my Arch Lector and my War Altar. The same thing happened to my opponent. Kills them both. The difference is I passed all my panic tests. So you don't love to see it happen, but in this game it's really not a huge issue. So over here he does nothing. And we go to bottom of turn 4. I reform my demis on the right to protect my flank. I try to charge the halberdiers into his knights and fail. It was a long charge, failed it. And I charge my great Chaos Great Spine Beast into his knights on the left. So I grind and kill a demi and put another wound on there. There's the failed charge. And there's the charge over here. After combat, yeah, those knights are it's just tough to get wounds through him. Strength 6, and that means he still has a 4-up armor. So I kill one, he does no wounds to me. I win, he breaks, and I reform because I'm not really worried. I mean, I had odds of catching him because I have Swiss Stride with this monster. But I didn't want to get up there and then just be out of the fight. So I just let him go. I'm not really worried about him. And I turn it in such a way that I don't think his demigryphs can get out of my line of sight. So, top of turn 5, he rallies his knights. His demigryphs try to get out of my line of sight. They don't. His knights, big block of knights, charge into my halberdiers. It's a little scary because he has so many bodies there. They've got a 1-up armor save. It's so tough to wound him. But I'm +1 to hit. And I've got a dominant magic phase now. Oh, yeah, I forgot it. You notice his level 4 never came back on the table. It failed its panic and ran off the table. So he has a level 1. It's all he has. So I've got a dominant magic phase. On the right, his vanilla knights charge my demigryph knights. There's that. There's that. He's gonna make a bloody mess of my halberdiers, but I'll be steadfast. 8 rerollable with the basically cold-blooded because I have a Captain BSB in there. So I'm going to hold. I just don't know if I can whittle him down enough before he just kills this unit outright. He's going to do a ton of wounds the first round of combat. After that, not so much. Yep, there's his demigryphs couldn't get out of my line of sight. They might have failed their march test, so he just did that. And yeah, so his knights charged my demigryphs. He did no wounds, and demigryphs tore him up, broke him from combat, and ran him down. Demigryphs are just BA. Yeah, so he did a bunch of wounds to me. I did several wounds back to him. But yeah, then he just reforms to get more attacks. We go to bottom of turn 5. My demis reform. Basically, I reform so I can stay on the hill. So I can charge his demigryphs in the flank and get a charge a flank and down a hill. Just got all those bonuses. So I can hopefully break them through combat res next time. Yeah, get giant chaos spine beast charges into that. Really curious how this is going to go because demigryphs are tough, and these are about equal point values here. There's that. After combat, yeah. So I've got the speed of light, or I forgot what the spell's called. Anyway, I have an extra attack, and I forgot to use my extra attack, which probably wouldn't have mattered. I can't get past a stupid armor save. And he's got a 5-up ward save because of a Battle Prairie cast. He does 1 wound to my Battle Standard Bearer. I'm in a challenge with his Battle Standard Bearer. I'm buffed by magic. He's not. I've got the White Cloak of Ulrich. He doesn't. He has nothing. It's magical. And I do no wounds to him. He does a wound to me. Being mounted and all that really helps because he has a 1-up, and I've got, I think, a 3-up, 5-up. So not wonderful there. I'd hate to lose my BSB. And over here, we trade wound. We both do 2 wounds to each other. I win by a charge. He's steadfast, and he sticks. So, yeah, that was kind of surprising. Top of turn 6, his knights on the left charge the rear of my giant chaos spine beast or whatever. Otherwise, nothing else can move. We're just kind of grinding things out. His magic phase is ineffectual. I'm worried about combat res here because I'm not going to get enough wounds on him to make up for a charge and a rear and all that. So all my attacks are going to go against the knights. So I'm going to hope that I kill 3 of them, but I know that I won't. One thing I forgot is I gave him the upgrade where he has always strikes first, and that means I would get rerolls against the knights behind me. And yeah, I forgot to utilize it. That might have helped. His cannons shoot at my Solicitor Hurricanum, hits me, wounds me, does 4 wounds. But I have 5, so we are okay for now. After combat, yeah, I only kill 1 knight. He easily wins through combat res, breaks my spine beast, and runs him down. So that was a nice lesson learned of what that thing is good against and what it's not good against. Over here, yeah, I've lost so many guys that Horde formation isn't doing me any good, so go ahead and reform to get ranks. But you notice this time, you don't see the cards here, but I was buffed with the Lore of Light spells. I mean, I've got the Speed of Light and whatever the other one is. I'm weapon skill 10, always strikes first, all that kind of stuff. So he's down to just his BSB, locked in challenge with mine. He's still got his Warrior Priest, and then he just has 2 knights left. That's it. So we go to bottom 6. I charge a Hurricane into the flank, hoping, really I'm hoping to win through combat res. The risk here is I only have 1 wound left on that Hurricanum, so if his Warrior Priest attacks it, He only has two attacks plus his horse, so he's unlikely to kill it, but he could. Yeah, so the Demi's charge with the flank here, hopefully just to finally get those points, easily get them. And yeah, we actually kill the remaining knights. When they broke from combat, his BSB died, and then my Hurricane ran down his one remaining warrior priest, and the game ends there. So, like I said, that was a really fun game. And the problem with these battle reports is you don't get the magic phases are really interesting. You know, especially in the first couple turns of the game. You know, how do you use your dice? You've got, you know, he's got 2 banishments plus his bound spell with the Luminarch. Plus, you know, you can always do a boosted. The first spell, I can't remember what it's called, but you do boosted one of those, and it's almost like a banishment. You know, how do you allocate dice? How do you stop it? What do you let through? It was really a really intriguing game that way, and it's a shame that when I killed his Archlector that he had so many units just run off the table because it couldn't really skewed things. So that was it. The councils converged. Hope you enjoyed it.